Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the bridge of the ESS Hyperion, Earth's most advanced warship, as the massive alien vessel emerged from hyperspace. The ship's dark hull seemed to absorb the starlight, its size dwarfing anything humanity had ever built. Behind her, the bridge crew worked in focused silence, their training keeping panic at bay despite the unprecedented situation. Multiple signatures detected, Admiral. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his voice steady despite the tension. 15 vessels in total, all larger than the Hyperion. Energy readings are off our established scales. Sarah maintained her composure, though her heart raced. Humanity had prepared for this moment ever since they detected the first alien signals 50 years ago. They knew they weren't alone in the galaxy, and they knew that first contact might not be peaceful. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a tall, willowy figure with iridescent skin and multiple pairs of eyes arranged in a circular pattern. The alien's voice resonated through the bridge's speakers, translated in real time by the ship's eye. I am High Marshal Syntaxa of the Galactic Confederation. Your species has been observed and found wanting. Submit to Confederation authority or face immediate pacification. Sarah's jaw tightened. This was exactly the scenario Earth's defense planners had feared. Not a diplomatic first contact, but an imperial power expecting immediate submission. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Space Service. We are a sovereign species. We do not recognize your authority over our world or our people. The alien's eyes pulsed with what might have been amusement. Your technological level is barely Category 3. Your ships use primitive fusion drives. Your weapons are based on crude particle acceleration. You cannot hope to resist. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. With respect, High Marshal, you might want to check those readings again. At her subtle hand signal, Lieutenant Rodriguez activated the Hyperion's full defensive systems. Across Earth's solar system, hidden installations powered up. Weapons platforms disguised as asteroids revealed themselves. Quantum entanglement networks that had been dormant for decades hummed to life. The aliens' expression shifted as new data flooded their sensors. Impossible. These readings, you've been hiding your true capabilities. Humanity learned long ago that it's better to be underestimated, Sarah replied. We've been preparing for this moment since we first looked up at the stars. This is your only warning. Leave Earth space peacefully, or discover exactly how much we've been hiding. The High Marshal's face contorted with rage. You dare threaten the Confederation. Your defiance will be punished severely. The transmission cut off abruptly. They're charging weapons, Rodriguez reported. Energy buildup in all vessels. Sarah squared her shoulders. Execute Protocol Omega. All ships, battle formations. Show them what humanity can really do. The Hyperion's hull shimmered as quantum shield generators activated. Throughout the solar system, Earth's real fleet emerged from hiding. Not the defunct fusion ships they'd allowed aliens to observe, but vessels powered by zero-point energy drives, armed with weapons that could tear apart the fabric of space itself. The first alien shots lanced out, expecting to find primitive shields. Instead, their energy weapons were caught in quantum fields that redirected their power back at them. The Confederation ships reeled as their own attacks were turned against them. Launch Strike Wings Alpha through Delta, Sarah commanded. Tactical pattern Leonidas. Squadrons of Earth fighters emerged from their hiding places in the asteroid belt, their stealth systems making them nearly invisible until the moment they struck. They moved in ways the aliens clearly hadn't expected, using maneuvers that seemed to defy physics. The bridge crew watched as the first wave of fighters struck home. The alien ship's shields flared brilliant purple as they struggled to adapt to weapons they'd never encountered before. Two of the smaller Confederation vessels lost power, their hulls going dark as Earth's quantum disruptors shut down their energy cores. High Marshal Syntaxa is hailing us again, Rodriguez announced. Put them through, Sarah ordered, standing tall. The alien leader's face appeared, their earlier confidence replaced by confusion and anger. What trickery is this? These technologies, They're beyond your development level. You made a common mistake, Sarah replied calmly. You judged us by what we showed the galaxy. You never asked what we were hiding. She paused, letting her words sink in. This is your final chance to withdraw. The next exchange won't be a demonstration. The High Marshal's multiple eyes narrowed. This isn't over, human. The Confederation will not forget this insult. Neither will Earth, Sarah assured them. Remember this day. Remember what happened when you thought you could simply demand our submission. The galaxy's about to learn that humanity isn't just another species to be conquered. As the alien fleet retreated, leaving their disabled ships behind, Sarah knew this was just the beginning. The Confederation would return with a larger force, but Earth would be ready. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, hiding their true strength, knowing that someday they would need every advantage they could get. Send word to Earth Defense Command, she ordered. Tell them Phase 1 was successful. Begin Phase 2 preparations immediately. She looked out at the stars, where the alien ships were vanishing into hyperspace. They'll be back, and next time they'll be ready for what we showed them today. Lieutenant Rodriguez smiled grimly, but not for what we haven't shown them yet. Sarah nodded. The real war was about to begin, but humanity had achieved something crucial. They'd shattered the Confederation's assumption of easy victory. Now the galaxy would learn why humans had survived every challenge their harsh world had thrown at them. They would learn why Earth's children had clawed their way to the stars through sheer determination and ingenuity. They would learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their hidden technology or secret weapons. It was their absolute refusal to submit to anyone who demanded their freedom. 3 weeks after the first confrontation, Admiral Chen paced the holographic command center deep within Titan's subterranean base. The massive chamber hummed with activity as officers monitored sensor feeds from across the solar system. The Confederation hadn't taken their defeat lightly. Their response fleet would arrive within hours. Latest intelligence analysis, Admiral Commander Maya Patel reported, her dark eyes fixed on the tactical display. 250 ships, including 3 dreadnoughts. They're not taking any chances this time. Sarah studied the projected invasion routes. The Confederation fleet was approaching in a tight defensive formation, clearly expecting another ambush. They've learned from their mistakes, she mused, but they're still thinking like conquerors, not survivors. The chamber's main doors slid open as Dr. James Wong entered, his typically pristine lab coat showing signs of hasty work. Admiral, Project Stormbreaker is ready. We've successfully integrated the quantum entanglement disruption field with the stealth systems. Will it work across the entire fleet? Sarah asked. James nodded. The field will cascade through their quantum communication network. Once it starts, their entire command and control structure will collapse. They won't be able to coordinate their ships effectively. How long will it last? 3 minutes, maybe 4. They'll adapt quickly once they realize what's happening. Sarah turned to Maya. That's our window. Have all strike teams ready. The moment their communications drop, we execute Operation Thunderstrike. She activated the fleet-wide comm system. All commanders, final briefing. Holographic images appeared around the chamber as ship captains and strike team leaders joined the conference. Sarah noticed their determined expressions. Each one knew what was at stake. The Confederation expects us to defend, she began. They think we'll try to protect our orbital installations, our colonies on Mars and Venus. Instead, we're going to hit them where they're strongest. She gestured, and the tactical display zoomed in on the enemy fleet center. Right here, at their command ships. Murmurs of surprise rippled through the holograms. Captain Elena Torres of the stealth carrier Shadowblade spoke up. Admiral, their center will be the most heavily defended position. Exactly, Sarah smiled. Which is why they won't expect us to target it. Humanity didn't get to the stars by playing it safe. Dr. Wong's team has given us a window of opportunity, and we're going to use every second of it. The briefing continued as Sarah laid out the plan. It was audacious, maybe even reckless, but it played to humanity's strengths. While the Confederation relied on overwhelming force and superior technology, Earth's forces would strike like lightning. Fast, precise, and devastating. Hours later, Sarah stood on the Hyperion's bridge as the enemy fleet emerged from hyperspace. Their ships filled the view screen, a wall of advanced technology and firepower that would have terrified any other species. But humans had long ago learned to turn fear into determination. They're broadcasting their demand for surrender, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. No response, Sarah ordered. Let them think we're frozen in fear. She watched the enemy fleet advance, their formation perfect, their confidence evident in every move. Status of Stormbreaker, ready on your command. Dr. Wong's voice came through the comm. Field generators are charged and synchronized. Sarah took a deep breath. Everything hinged on the next few minutes. All ships, execute Operation Thunderstrike on my mark. She waited as the enemy drew closer, watching their formation tighten as they prepared for battle. 3, 2, 1, mark. Across the solar system, hidden quantum devices activated simultaneously. The disruption field rippled through space, invisible but devastating. On the tactical display, enemy communication signals vanished instantly. Strike teams, go, Sarah commanded. The void erupted with activity as Earth's ships seemed to appear from nowhere. They had been hiding in plain sight, using technology that bent light and sensor readings around them. Now they struck with coordinated fury, each group targeting specific weaknesses in the enemy fleet's formation. The Confederation ships tried to respond, but without their quantum network, they couldn't coordinate. Individual captains reacted differently, some advancing, others pulling back, their perfect formation dissolving into chaos. Sarah watched as the first phase of strikes hit home. Earth fighters, smaller and more agile than anything the Confederation had ever encountered, slipped through gaps in their defense. Quantum torpedoes phased through shields calibrated to stop conventional weapons. Strategic targets went dark as precision strikes severed power systems. Their flagship is isolated, Maya reported. Shield harmonics are fluctuating. All ships converge on the flagship, Sarah ordered. Show them what happens when they underestimate humanity. The battle raged across the solar system, but it wasn't the kind of battle the Confederation had expected. Instead of facing a defensive wall of ships protecting Earth, they found themselves attacked from all sides by an enemy that seemed to appear and disappear at will. When their quantum network finally came back online, it was too late. Their carefully planned formation was in shambles, their flagship crippled, and a third of their fleet disabled or destroyed. The remaining ships began to retreat, their withdrawal covering the rescue of their command staff from the stricken flagship. As the enemy fleet disappeared into hyperspace, leaving their dead and wounded behind, Sarah allowed herself to relax slightly. Casualty report. Minimal, Admiral, Maya replied, her voice tight with controlled emotion. We lost 12 fighters and 2 destroyers. Enemy losses are substantial. Begin recovery operations, Sarah ordered, and get me Earth Defense Command. They need to know the Confederation just learned another lesson about humanity. She stared at the debris field that had once been the enemy's finest ships. We don't just fight to survive. We fight to win. The mood in Earth's Defense Command was tense as Admiral Chen reviewed the latest intelligence reports. A month had passed since Operation Thunderstrike, and the Confederation's response had exceeded even their worst projections. 1,000 ships, Dr. Wong whispered, his usual confidence shaken as he studied the long-range sensor data. They'd stripped their core worlds of defense fleets. They're throwing everything at us. Sarah nodded grimly. The Confederation's pride had been wounded twice now. Their response was driven by rage as much as strategy. They can't afford to lose face. If a primitive species defeats them, their entire empire might crumble. Commander Patel highlighted several sectors on the tactical display. They're not just coming through traditional hyperspace routes this time. They're using paths we didn't even know existed. They've learned from their mistakes, and they've adapted their technology, James added. The quantum disruption field won't work again. They've modified their communication systems. Sarah studied the projected invasion routes. The Confederation fleet would arrive in waves, attacking from multiple vectors. Their numbers would overwhelm Earth's defensive positions if they fought conventionally. But humanity had never been good at fighting conventionally. "Show me the Lazarus Protocol simulations," she ordered. Maya brought up a new set of projections. "It's risky, Admiral. We've never attempted anything on this scale before. If the calculations are off by even a fraction..." "We're out of options," Sarah interrupted. "They expect us to either surrender or fight a losing battle. Time to show them something new." She opened a channel to all Earth forces. "This is Admiral Chen. As you know, the largest Confederation fleet ever assembled is approaching Earth. They think their superior numbers guarantee victory. They're wrong." She paused, letting her words sink in. For generations, humanity looked up at the stars and wondered if we were alone. We prepared for first contact, hoping for peace but ready for war. What we couldn't have known was that our greatest advantage wouldn't be our technology or our weapons, but our perspective. The tactical display updated as she spoke, showing the positions of Earth's forces. The Confederation thinks in 3 dimensions. Their tactics, their technology, their entire strategy is based on conventional space warfare. But humanity, we grew up reading science fiction. We imagined possibilities that never occurred to them. And now we're going to show them what imagination combined with determination can do. Over the next hours, Earth's forces took up positions that seemed to make no tactical sense. Ships clustered near gas giants and ice fields. Others disappeared into asteroid belts or took up stations near seemingly random points in space. The first wave of Confederation ships arrived exactly as predicted. Their improved formation accounted for Earth's previous tactics, with overlapping fields of fire and redundant command structures. They were ready for stealth attacks, prepared for quantum disruption, and confident in their overwhelming numbers. They weren't ready for what actually happened. "Lazarus Protocol initiated," Dr. Wong announced, his fingers dancing across his control panel. "Gravity field generators at full power." Across the solar system, hidden installations activated. The very fabric of space began to twist as artificial gravity wells formed and intersected. The Confederation fleet found their carefully planned formation disrupted as localized space-time distortions pulled their ships off course. "Phase 2, Sarah commanded. "Show them why humans never forgot our submarine warfare doctrine." Earth ships emerged from their hiding places, but not how the Confederation expected. They came from above and below the galactic plane, using the artificial gravity wells to slingshot themselves at impossible angles. While the enemy thought in 3 dimensions, humanity attacked from directions they didn't even consider. The battle that followed would be studied for centuries. Confederation ships, their formation broken, found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to ignore the basic laws of physics. Earth vessels used the gravity wells like an underwater terrain, diving deep into distorted space to avoid fire, then rising to strike from unexpected vectors. "Their attempts to regroup are failing," Maya reported, excitement creeping into her voice. "They can't maintain formation in these conditions. Their targeting systems can't compensate for the gravity distortions." But the Confederation's numbers still posed a deadly threat. Though confused and divided, their ships began to adapt. Several Earth vessels were lost as the enemy started to understand the new battlefield dynamics. "They're learning faster than expected," Sarah noted. "Time for the final phase. Deploy the gravity mines." Throughout the battle zone, hidden devices activated. The artificial gravity wells began to shift and pulse, creating a chaotic pattern that even Earth's ships struggled to navigate. But humanity had trained for this, their neural interfaces and AI systems working in perfect harmony with their pilots' intuition. The Confederation fleet found itself trapped in a constantly shifting maze of gravitational forces. Ships collided as space itself seemed to fold around them. Their superior numbers became a liability as they struggled to avoid their own vessels in the distorted battlefield. "Enemy fleet is fracturing," Maya announced. Multiple ships attempting emergency hyperspace jumps failing due to gravity interference. Sarah watched as the mighty Confederation armada began to break apart. Some ships managed to escape, while others were forced to surrender as their power systems failed. The greatest fleet ever assembled was being defeated not by superior firepower, but by humanity's ability to think beyond conventional limitations. "Send to all Earth forces," she ordered. "Phase 3 complete. Begin rescue operations for disabled vessels. Show them that humanity knows how to win with honor." As the battle ended, Sarah stared at the tactical display showing the scattered remnants of the Confederation fleet. They had won, but she knew this wasn't the end. The Confederation would be back, with new tactics and technologies. But humanity would be ready, with new innovations of their own. "You know they'll never look at us the same way again," Dr. Wong said quietly. Sarah nodded. "Good. It's time the galaxy learned that advanced technology isn't everything. Sometimes, the most powerful weapon is the ability to imagine what others think impossible." In the depths of Luna Base's quantum research facility, Dr. James Wong stared at his holographic display with growing excitement. For months, his team had been studying the captured Confederation technology, looking for any advantage they could find. Now, after countless failures, they'd discovered something unprecedented. "Admiral Chen," he called through the quantum comm, "you need to see this immediately." Sarah arrived within the hour, her uniform showing signs of the endless meetings she'd been attending. The Confederation's defeat had bought Earth time, but everyone knew they were preparing something bigger. "Tell me you have good news, James," she said, studying the complex equations floating in the air. "Better than good," he replied, gesturing at a captured Confederation power core. "We've been approaching this all wrong. We thought their technology was just more advanced than ours. But it's not. It's fundamentally different." He manipulated the holographic display, zooming in on the quantum structure of the alien technology. "Their entire civilization is built on quantum manipulation at the macro scale. It's elegant, incredibly efficient, and leads ahead of anything we could develop naturally." "I'm hearing a but coming," Sarah noted. James smiled. "But it's also their greatest weakness. They've been using this technology for so long, they've forgotten how to think about physics any other way. Every piece of their technology, from their weapons to their life support systems, relies on quantum coherence." Commander Patel, who had quietly entered during the explanation, stepped forward. "And that matters because quantum coherence is fragile," James explained. "Their technology is incredible, but it's like a house of cards. If you disrupt the quantum field in just the right way." He pressed a button, sending a precise energy pulse into the power core. The alien device flickered and went dark. Sarah's eyes widened. "You can shut down their technology remotely." "Not exactly," James cautioned. "They have safeguards, redundancies, but we found their fundamental weakness. Everything they build assumes quantum stability. They never develop the kind of robust, primitive technology we use as backup systems." "How long to weaponize this?" Sarah asked. "That's the beautiful part," James grinned. "We already have. Remember our old electromagnetic pulse weapons, the ones we developed centuries ago? With some modifications, they'll be perfect for disrupting their quantum fields. We don't need to match their technology. We can use our primitive weapons in ways they never imagined." Over the next weeks, Earth's forces were retrofitted with modified EMP devices. Ships that had seemed hopelessly outgunned suddenly had a fighting chance. But Sarah knew they needed more than just a new weapon. They needed a strategy that would end this war decisively. The opportunity came sooner than expected. Long-range sensors detected a massive quantum disturbance approaching the solar system. The Confederation had built something new, a quantum superweapon designed to end the war with one strike. They're calling it the Harmony Resonator, Maya reported during the emergency briefing. According to our intelligence, it's designed to generate a quantum field that will overwhelm our defenses and disable our technology. They still think we rely on the same kind of quantum tech they do, James noted. They have no idea how much of our equipment is based on older, more reliable principles. Sarah studied the tactical projections. So their superweapon will be about as effective as trying to shut down a diesel engine with a software virus, James finished. But more importantly, generating a field that large makes their own quantum systems incredibly vulnerable. The plan came together quickly. Earth's forces would appear to retreat, drawing the Confederation fleet and their superweapon into perfect position. The enemy would believe they had finally developed an unstoppable weapon. They would never expect what came next. The battle began exactly as predicted. The Confederation fleet emerged from hyperspace with their superweapon at its center, a massive construct that pulsed with quantum energy. Their transmission was brief and confident. "This is your final chance to surrender," the Confederation admiral announced. "Our Harmony Resonator will disable every piece of advanced technology in your system. You cannot resist." Sarah's response was equally brief. "You still don't understand us at all, do you?" The signal to attack went out. From hidden positions throughout the solar system, Earth's ships launched their modified EMP weapons. The pulses were synchronized, precisely calculated to create a cascading disruption in the quantum field. The effect was beyond even their most optimistic predictions. The Harmony Resonator, attempting to generate its overwhelming quantum field, instead became the focal point for the disruption. The massive construct's quantum coherence collapsed spectacularly, taking down the shields and weapons of nearby Confederation ships. "Multiple enemy ships going dark," Maya reported, her voice tight with excitement. "Their quantum networks are failing across the board. The disruption is spreading through their entire fleet." The Confederation forces found themselves in a nightmare scenario. Their mighty ships, dependent on quantum technology, were being reduced to powerless hulks. Emergency systems failed as the cascade spread. Ships that managed to maintain power discovered that their weapons were useless against Earth vessels protected by primitive electromagnetic shielding. "Send the message," Sarah ordered. "To all Confederation forces, your technology is no longer your advantage. It's your vulnerability. Surrender now, or we'll be forced to demonstrate this across your empire." The response came within minutes. The remaining Confederation ships powered down their weapons. After centuries of unquestioned superiority, they had finally met a species that could not only resist them but defeat them. As ceasefire negotiations began, Sarah found James in his lab, already studying new pieces of Confederation technology. "You know they'll adapt eventually," she said. "Of course," he replied without looking up. "But they'll have to fundamentally change how their civilization works to do it. And by then, we'll have found 3 new ways to surprise them." He paused, finally meeting her eyes. "That's the real difference between us and them, isn't it? They think technology makes them superior. We know it's the ability to adapt, to think differently, that really matters." Sarah nodded, looking out at the stars where Earth ships were helping rescue crews from disabled Confederation vessels. They had won not through superior technology, but by understanding that true strength lies in diversity, in having both the advanced and the primitive, the quantum and the classical, the elegant and the robust. The galaxy would never be the same, and humanity was just getting started. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Confederation fell silent as Admiral Sarah Chen entered. The circular room, with its soaring crystalline architecture and quantum-engineered materials, was designed to intimidate visitors. But Sarah walked confidently to the center, her Earth Space Service uniform standing out among the ornate robes of the alien representatives. High Chancellor Xintaxa, their multiple eyes dimmed with exhaustion, spoke first. "The human delegation is recognized. We are prepared to hear your terms." 3 months had passed since humanity's decisive victory. The Confederation's defeat had sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Dozens of subjugated species were now watching closely, wondering if their mighty overlords could truly be humbled. Before we discuss terms, Sarah began, her voice carrying clearly through the vast chamber. I want to make something clear. Earth doesn't seek dominion over others. We don't want to replace the Confederation as galaxy's rulers. What we want is change. She gestured, and Dr. Wong activated a holographic display showing the combined technological achievements of Earth and the Confederation. Your civilization achieved incredible things. Your quantum technology revolutionized space travel, energy production, medicine. But you became so focused on one path of advancement that you forgot something crucial. James highlighted specific sections of the display. Progress isn't linear. Technology isn't a simple progression from primitive to advanced. Sometimes the old ways have advantages. Sometimes combining different approaches creates something greater than either could achieve alone. Murmurs rippled through the council chamber. Some representatives showed signs of anger, others of curiosity. Commander Patel, standing at the chamber's entrance with an honor guard of Earth Marines, noticed several younger council members nodding in agreement. We're offering a partnership, Sarah continued. Not submission, not dominance, but true collaboration. Imagine combining your quantum mastery with our adaptability. Imagine ships that use both quantum drives and fusion power, carrying weapons that can switch between energy states. Imagine defenses that can't be overcome because they don't rely on a single type of technology. High Chancellor Xin Tax's eyes pulsed with interest despite their obvious attempt to remain stoic. And if we refuse? If we choose to continue fighting? Sarah's expression remained calm, but her voice carried steel. Then we'll be forced to demonstrate our quantum disruption technology across your empire. Your ships will fall silent. Your cities will lose power. Everything you've built will stop working. We don't want to do that. It would cause massive suffering, and humanity has seen enough of that in our own history. She paused, letting the implications sink in. But we will do it if we must, because the one thing humanity will never do is submit to tyranny, no matter how technologically advanced it might be. The chamber erupted in discussion. Various council members argued amongst themselves, some demanding continued resistance, others pushing for acceptance of Earth's offer. Through it all, Sarah stood quietly, waiting. Finally, High Chancellor Xin Taxa raised their hand for silence. You've proven your strength, humans, but how can we trust that you won't use this advantage to dominate us as we once tried to dominate you? Sarah smiled. Because we're going to share our quantum disruption technology with everyone. This announcement caused even more commotion. Not just the Confederation, but all spacefaring species. When everyone has the ability to defend themselves, when no single type of technology can guarantee victory, then we'll have real peace. You would give away your greatest advantage? A council member asked incredulously. Our greatest advantage isn't the technology, Sarah replied. It's our ability to adapt, to think differently, to combine the old and the new in ways nobody expected. That's something that can't be given away. It has to be learned. The negotiations continued for hours, but the outcome was never really in doubt. The Confederation had seen firsthand what happened when they underestimated humanity. Now they faced a choice: adapt or become obsolete. One by one, the council members voted. The result was clear. The Confederation would accept Earth's terms. The galaxy would change. Later, on the observation deck of the Hyperion, Sarah watched the quantum sunset over the Confederation's capital world. Dr. Wong and Commander Patel joined her, each carrying data tablets filled with preliminary cooperation agreements. The technology exchange teams are ready to begin, James reported. Though I think we're going to learn as much from them as they do from us. Maya nodded. Several Confederation worlds have already requested Earth advisors to help them develop hybrid defense systems. They're particularly interested in our backup technologies. And the other species? Sarah asked. reaching out through every channel they can find. Maya smiled. Turns out a lot of civilizations were waiting for someone to prove the Confederation wasn't invincible. They want to know more about the humans who managed it. Sarah watched as ships from a dozen different species moved through the system's space lanes. Already, the rigid segregation of the Confederation era was breaking down. Change was coming, faster than anyone had expected. You know what the really interesting part is? James mused. The Confederation's younger generation is thrilled about all this. They've been stuck in the same technological rut for centuries. Now they're seeing new possibilities, different ways of thinking about problems. Because sometimes you have to go backward to move forward, Sarah said quietly. Sometimes the old ways and the new ways are both right, just for different situations. She turned to her friends and colleagues. Humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy won't be our technology or our tactics. It'll be teaching them how to think differently. As the quantum sunset faded into night, Sarah thought about the future. The galaxy was entering a new age, one where no single species or technology would dominate. There would be challenges ahead, new conflicts to resolve, new problems to solve. But humanity was ready. They had proven themselves not just to the Confederation, but to the entire galaxy. They had shown that true strength comes not from technological superiority, but from adaptability, creativity, and the wisdom to know that there's always more than one way forward. The stars seemed brighter somehow, full of new possibilities. Humanity's journey among them was just beginning.